The man who walked into Maranello in December of 2022 didn't just inherit a race team, he inherited a psychological disaster zone, a place where grown adults in million-dollar engineering roles were terrified to speak up, a factory where the simplest decision required committee approval because nobody wanted to be the one who got blamed when things went wrong. And he had 2 years to fix it. 2 years to undo decades of institutional trauma. 2 years to convince an entire organization that losing wasn't their fault, but winning was absolutely their responsibility. Here's the thing about Ferrari. When Fred Vasseur took over as team principal in January 2023, the team had just experienced something that sounds absurd on paper. They'd finished second in the Constructors' Championship. Second place. In any other sport, that's a podium. That's success. That's something to build on. But at Ferrari, second place wasn't a result. It was a failure, a humiliation, a trauma. And the weird part, they were right to feel that way. Because Ferrari had started the 2022 season 6 months ahead of everyone else. 6 months of development advantage. 6 months of preparation. And they'd thrown it all away. Reliability failures, strategic disasters, a championship lead that evaporated like morning dew. By the end of the season, they'd lost to Red Bull by over 200 points and hadn't won a single race in the final 11 rounds. But it wasn't just the losing that broke them, it was how they lost. Every weekend brought a new catastrophe, a pit stop gone wrong, a strategy call that defied logic, a car that betrayed its own potential. And with each failure, the blame game intensified. Engineers pointing at strategists, strategists pointing at drivers, drivers pointing at the car. And the car, of course, couldn't defend itself. By the time Vasseur walked through the doors, the place was running on fear. Not the productive kind of fear that makes you work harder, the paralyzing kind that makes you work safer. The kind that convinces you to add an extra kilo of weight to the car just to be sure. To add half a liter of fuel just in case. To open the side pods a little wider because God forbid something goes wrong and it's your fault. Vasseur did the math on that mentality. All those tiny safety margins, all those little precautions, all that playing it safe, it added up to 0.2 of a second per lap. 0.2. And when the average gap between Ferrari and the car in front of them was 0.03 of a second, 0.2 wasn't just a margin, it was the difference between winning and losing. He called it the gap between what they were capable of and what they were actually doing. The gap between potential and performance, the gap created by fear. And he decided right then that the first thing he needed to fix wasn't the car, it wasn't the engine, it wasn't even the strategy department, it was the culture. Now, let me tell you something about Fred Vasseur that most people don't know. He's French. He's running an Italian team. He's walking into an organization that has been Italian for 75 years, an organization where pasta is a food group and hand gestures are a second language. And he's supposed to change everything about how they operate without destroying what makes them special. The easy path would have been to come in swinging, to fire everyone who'd been part of the failure, to clean house and start fresh. That's what Ferrari had done before. That's what everyone expected him to do. That's what the Italian press was practically begging him to do. He didn't do any of that. Instead, he said something that sounds ridiculously simple but was actually revolutionary for Ferrari. He said, "I didn't want a team run by fear." Think about that for a second. At Ferrari, the most pressure-cooked environment in all of motorsport, the team where the entire country watches your every move, the team where one bad race weekend can make you a national villain, and he's saying he doesn't want fear. Charles Leclerc, who had been through multiple team principals at Ferrari, noticed the difference immediately. Under Vasseur, mistakes got acknowledged faster, flaws got addressed quicker. People weren't hiding their failures anymore. They were bringing them to the surface so they could actually fix them. Leclerc put it perfectly. People have more responsibilities, are put in a better place to be at their 100%, and really have the trust from Fred, which is a really good thing. Trust. At Ferrari. That word hadn't been part of the vocabulary for a long time. But here's where it gets interesting. Vasseur didn't just create a comfortable environment where everyone felt good about themselves, he created an environment where people felt safe enough to take risks, safe enough to propose radical ideas, safe enough to be wrong. And that's when the innovation started. Within months of Vasseur's arrival, Ferrari started doing things that would have been unthinkable under the old regime. The Macarena rear wing, the exhaust wing, winglets on the halo, design tricks that pushed the boundaries of the regulations, ideas that would have been shot down instantly under the old culture of fear. Because what if they didn't work? What if they made the car slower? What if someone got blamed? Under Vasseur, the message was simple. If you have something to propose, be open. We never blame someone if you have something to propose and it's not working. He told his engineers to stop being shy, to push everything, to bring their wildest ideas to the table, because even the failures would teach them something. Even the experiments that didn't work would move them forward. And the results? They started winning races. Not just the occasional fluke win, but real competitive victories. In 2023, Ferrari became the only team other than Red Bull to win a Grand Prix. 2024, they came within 14 points of beating McLaren for the Constructors' Championship. But Vasseur will tell you it wasn't just about the wins, it was about the process. The way the team operated on race weekends, the way departments that had once been isolated started working together seamlessly, the way mistakes got identified and corrected faster than ever before. One moment that really shows how much things had changed came during the 2024 season. Ferrari introduced an upgrade package at Barcelona that didn't work. The car started bouncing again. Performance dropped. Under the old regime, this would have been a disaster. Heads would have rolled. Blame would have been assigned. People would have been terrified to admit they'd made a mistake. Instead, Leclerc said the team acknowledged the weaknesses within 3 or 4 races. Everyone admitted what had gone wrong, no finger-pointing, no excuses, just a collective effort to fix it and move forward. Leclerc admitted, maybe in the past it wasn't as easy as now. That's the culture change Vasseur delivered. Not just better results on track, but a better way of working off it. A way that didn't punish failure but learned from it. A way that didn't reward playing it safe but encouraged pushing boundaries. Now, let me be honest with you. Not everyone in Maranello was thrilled with Vasseur's approach. Some senior staff felt left out of key decisions. Technical director Enrico Cardilli left for Aston Martin reportedly because of a breakdown in communication with Vasseur. There were whispers that Vasseur drew sharp lines between trusted and untrusted staff, and that those who fell into the latter category found little room for redemption. Even Vasseur himself admitted he underestimated the challenge. He called it the inertia of the project, the sheer weight of history, the difficulty of changing an organization that had been doing things the same way for decades. He told the Beyond the Grid podcast, to rebuild something or to do things differently takes time. And he was right. It did take time. More time than he expected. More time than Ferrari fans wanted. But he kept pushing forward, kept believing in the process, kept insisting that the foundation they were building would pay off in the long run. The payoff started coming in 2025, when Vasseur pulled off arguably the biggest coup in Formula One history. He convinced Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion, the most successful driver in the history of the sport, to leave Mercedes and join Ferrari. This wasn't just a signing, this was a statement, a declaration that Ferrari was no longer a team that attracted drivers past their prime. It was a team that could attract the greatest of all time. And Hamilton, for his part, made it crystal clear. I wouldn't be in this team without Fred. Fred is the one that made it happen. But the Hamilton signing also revealed something deeper about the culture Vasseur had built. Because Hamilton didn't just show up and drive. He showed up and started pushing for changes, demanding improvements, rattling cages in a way that would have been unthinkable under previous regimes. And here's the remarkable part. Vasseur listened. He enabled those changes to happen. He created an environment where even the most demanding driver in the sport felt heard. Hamilton himself acknowledged how difficult this was. He said, "It's not easy to be on the receiving end of that when you're also juggling a whole organization and a culture that in its own is set in a certain way. He's French in an Italian culture. It was a lot for him to juggle. Yet Vasseur managed it. He kept the team united.
He kept the atmosphere positive. He kept everyone focused on the goal. When Ferrari confirmed his contract extension in July 2025, both drivers publicly celebrated the news. Leclerc, who'd worked with Vasseur before at Alfa Romeo, described his greatest quality. Fred really knows how to leave his emotions aside and have a clear vision of where we are at no matter how much noise there is around the team. He called it cold blood, the ability to remain emotionally flat in a team that is anything but. To take a step back 20 minutes after a race and deliver clear-headed analysis when everyone else is still riding the emotional roller coaster. Leclerc explained, "That's very difficult because it's a sport, and we all care a lot about what we do. We all want to do well, and we're affected whether things go good or bad. But Fred is very emotionally flat, and that helps a team like Ferrari so much, because the team is all the opposite, mostly because there's so much passion within the team." That emotional stability became Ferrari's secret weapon. In high-pressure situations, when other teams would panic, Ferrari stayed calm. When mistakes happened, they got fixed. When setbacks occurred, the team moved forward instead of spiraling. But Vasseur's transformation of Ferrari wasn't just about psychology. It was also about structure. He streamlined decision-making. He broke down silos between departments. He created a culture of collaboration instead of division. Under his leadership, the engine program became competitive again. The aerodynamic progress made the car more consistent across different circuits. The technical foundation grew stronger than it had been in years. By focusing on structure instead of panic, Ferrari built something that had eluded them for decades, a real, lasting foundation. Loic Serra, the technical director Vasseur had recruited from Mercedes, played a key role in this transformation. Vasseur had started discussions with Serra 2 years before he actually joined. That's the kind of long-term thinking that Ferrari had been missing, the willingness to wait for the right people, the patience to build something that would last. Loic Serra's first Ferrari car would be the 2026 model, and Vasseur knew that. He knew it.
Wouldn't see the full benefits of his recruitment for years, but he was willing to wait because he was building for the long term, not just the next race. Now, let's be real about something. Vasseur's time at Ferrari hasn't been all smooth sailing. The 2025 season was tough. Hamilton struggled to adapt. The car wasn't as competitive as everyone had hoped. There were rumors that Vasseur's job was on the line. The Italian press, as it always does, started sharpening its knives. Former Ferrari president Luca Di Montezemolo even criticized the team's leadership, saying, "I see a Ferrari that has no leader. There was no leadership, and above all, I see that it lacks a strong, determined soul." But here's the thing about the criticism. It came from people who didn't understand what Vasseur was actually doing. They saw the lack of race wins and assumed the team was failing. They didn't see the cultural transformation happening beneath the surface. They didn't understand that you can't fix decades of dysfunction overnight. Vasseur himself admitted that the process was taking longer than expected. He said, "What we underestimated, or I underestimated, is also the inertia at the beginning." But he never wavered. He kept believing in the process, kept pushing for improvement, kept insisting that the foundation they were building would eventually deliver results. And in 2026, those results started coming. Hamilton won in Barcelona, his first victory for Ferrari. The team became Mercedes' closest challenger. The car showed genuine pace. The improvements that Vasseur had been working toward for years were finally paying off. Vasseur responded to the success with characteristic calm. He urged the team to stay calm and not get carried away by the talk of a championship challenge. He refused to be drawn into debates about title chances. He kept everyone focused on the next race, the next improvement, the next step forward. That's the Vasseur way. Never too high, never too low. Always focused on the process, always believing that if you do the right things consistently, the results will follow. So, what's the lesson here? What can we learn from Fred Vasseur's transformation of Ferrari? First, culture matters more than talent. Ferrari had talent. They had the best engineers, the best drivers, the best facilities. What they didn't have was an environment where that talent could flourish. Vasseur didn't need to hire new people. He needed to unlock the potential of the people he already had. Second, psychological safety is a performance multiplier. When people are afraid to make mistakes, they stop taking risks. When they stop taking risks, they stop innovating. When they stop innovating, they fall behind. Vasseur understood that the path to winning wasn't through fear, it was through freedom. Third, change takes time.
real change, lasting change, the kind of change that transforms an organization from the inside out. Vasseur's 2-year timeline seemed ambitious. In retrospect, it was almost impossibly fast, but even that wasn't fast enough for some people. The critics wanted immediate results. Vasseur wanted sustainable success. And finally, leadership is more than making decisions. It's about creating an environment where good decisions can be made. It's about building trust. It's about maintaining calm in the storm. It's about believing in something bigger than the next race. Vasseur told Auto Hebdo, "There was a real trauma, and we had to restore calm and serenity." That's what he did. He restored calm to a team that had been in chaos. He brought serenity to a place that had been defined by anxiety. And in doing so, he didn't just rebuild Ferrari's broken culture, he reminded everyone that even the most broken organizations can be fixed. Even the most dysfunctional teams can be transformed. Even the most impossible challenges can be overcome. All it takes is the right leader, the right vision, and the courage to believe that things can be different. 2 years. That's all it took. 2 years to go from a team run by fear to a team driven by ambition. 2 years to go from playing it safe to pushing boundaries. 2 years to go from the laughingstock of the paddock to a genuine title contender. And the craziest part, Vasseur says they're just getting started.